Alright, this here will be my app. As we can see, it's only three. We only got three file names over here. One would be the main, and the other one is favorite number, simply where it's just requesting a number. As you can see, it's only 27 lines, so it's not very complicated or anything of the such. This one here, the S&S, this is very short also. This only has basically defining one word and defining a structure. So two of the three are very, very short. As we can see here, my main, we have a little bit up here, which just includes these files and includes these functions and stuff. So this was a function get animal that I used to have on its own file, but I was attempting to do a bunch of stuff and moved it here so I didn't have to deal with this return here, because what I was trying to get out of this was an array of characters, which would be the name of the animal. But returning an array is not that easy, and you can't, well, it is kind of easy. It's just that you can't change the variables, or I just don't know how yet. Yeah. So in this here, we have, it takes an integer, which is the favorite number, which is gotten from this file up here, favorite num. This here just a file pointer holder. Here's just a counter. This file equals fopen animals.txt comma r. This is just uses the file pointer, and this right here opens the file called animals.txt and opens it in read, so we can read from the file. This right here is for basically security check. If the file equals null, then we can't open the file. Return -1, which will be an error code. So if the program did not find a file, it would likely terminate right here. Okay, else, so if there's no error, or if the file is not null, what we will do is we will hold fgetC file, so every character from file will be transferred to C one at a time. And I got here the 69 character string, the animal, equals C. So I would assume, my assumption was on this is that since I have a 69 character string, this C will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up to 69. It'll be in here. Anything after that will, not be included in here. But I have while, which this do while happens while C does not equal a new line. So if C were to ever equal a new line, which after every word there is a new line, this would all stop. So technically, by the way this looks, right, even though this is a 69 character string, the first string in the file is only, you could say, 15 to 20 characters, anywhere in there, maybe even 10 to 20. So it wouldn't even fill up this whole array. But yet somehow I couldn't get anything beneficial to be inside here. After all this is done, it's okay. So once C equals a new line, this will stop here, and then f close file will close the file. So the file will be closed. Okay? And then what do we return? We return the animal fav number. So this will be whatever the favorite number would be that part of the array. Right? And I have it, because the return type, I have an int, but really I wanted a character. I want characters, right? Letters, even though you can get them from the integers. Maybe that's where I messed up. I should have used ints more. instead of trying to use characters. Anyways, yeah, I transferred it to a character. I casted it. Okay, so as we move to the main method, int main, we have no parameters that need to be passed to it. It returns an integer. Int fav number equals get num. This is my function get number, which is here. So we can see int fav number, check 0, these are holders. And printf is we print this out to the user, which is basically a question, between 1 and 60, what's one of your favorite numbers? Or choose randomly from 1 to 60. Okay, and then as the user types input, we save that input as an integer in fav number, which is right here. So whatever the user puts in response to this will be saved to fav number. And this right here, this for loop, this basically goes through 1 to 60 because the numbers that they could choose from, the user, is 1 to 60. So any integer in there should be a 1 to a 60. So either a 1 through a 9 or a 0. Right? So I have here is this for loop goes through 1 to 60 and checks that every int in favorite number is contained in there. If it is, break. It just cuts off, everything's successful. If, on the other hand, fav number were to contain something other than what's supposed to be in there, which is a number from 1 to 60, then we'll print this to the user, which is please ensure a number between 1 and 60 is chosen. Try again. And then I return -1, which is an error code, and more than likely my assumption is we'll stop the program altogether right here if there's a, something other than a 1 to 60. And then the last part here, we return fav number. So right here, the return value, int fav number, is the favorite number. Here, this is just a holder. Word character word of 26 characters. So a string, my bad, sorry. A string, 26 character string called word is what I'm using for this right below here when I ask the user for an easily remembered word. So when I ask this question and they answer it by typing in a word, this right here is going to save that word to this character array and save one spot. Okay, so right here we have another character string. This one is 70 characters in length and equals A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I just did that to initialize it so I could stop getting the not initialized errors. Not even errors, just warnings even. Same here. Same with the next two, actually. Okay, so after this, we create another one, right? 69 character string called the name. And that equals the return value from getAnimal. So if we go back up here, we can see getAnimal takes an integer as an argument, which is the favorite number we used. And then we can see we go through all this, right? We open up the file. If we can't open the file, we error out. And then while the file is not errored, we do this, where we get the next character, and we fill the 69 character array with each one of those characters. But if there is a new line, we'll stop. Close the file, return whatever was put inside this 69 character string array, which ends up being really nothing. Okay, so yeah, that's why I had this right here, because I got that's why I put the animal out here in front, like outside of the function, so that it's available to this entire file without having to rely on a return value. You can just come up here and, this is available, so we could use it. That's what's right here. So I got the name, this one, because this ended up being not good. So I tried this instead. This didn't work either. Then here we got, right here, we're just creating the memory for the password. Right, and then here we got part 1 of the password equals my salt, which if we look over here, my salt is the number 13. So part 1 of the password will be number 13. Then we got part 2. Okay, part 2 of the password is going to be this word here that we got from the user, their favorite or their easily remembered word. Okay, so we're going to use that word for the second part of the password. And that's accomplished by using the for loop right here, which goes through each character in the word and places it inside part 2. So part 1, my salt, which would be the number 13, would be combined at this point. Well, no, not technically. It's not combined until we put it together. But so the number 13 would be part 1 of the password, and part 2 of the password would be the user's memorable word that they chose. Part 3 is the user's favorite number. So this right here from getNum that we did at first, this is going to be part 3 of the password. So the first part is integers, second part is words, third part is integers, and as we get to the fourth part, or the last part of the password was supposed to be, let's see if I can bring it up here. Well, it was supposed to be one of these names from this file, which we can see there's a lot of names here. Plenty. The fact that I couldn't get none of these names is upsetting a little bit. A lot, actually. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the last part was supposed to be one of those names, which is accomplished through this here getAnimal. But I don't know, man. It wouldn't work. I don't know what I did wrong. I had to have did something wrong, not doing something right. What that is, I have no idea. As we can see, if we run this, so we're going to run this here and see what happens. So we'll run it. And let's see, what do we got? Okay, so what do we have? Between 1 and 60, what's one of your favorite numbers? Or choose randomly from 1 to 60. I'm going to choose randomly and say 37. Hit the enter. Okay, one word I find easily remembered. Pop-Tart. Pop-Tart's easy to remember. And see what I got is, so 13 is which is my my salt number. Pop-Tart was the word I chose, which was easily remembered. 37, that was the user's favorite number, supposedly. And string, that was supposed to be one of those animal names from that file I showed earlier. But now, let me close this. Now, all it does is equal this here, string. That's it. Even though I pretty sure I manipulated it right in here, somehow it ends up being this still. Well, that is my app.